I've been looking at contracts, doing site visits, talking with folks, and uh, it's come to my attention that there's needs to be some adjustments so that we're better serving the needs of students. And one of those things will be to, number one, make the RFP process easier. So we're going to reduce the 120-page application down quite a bit, and we're also going to streamline the way funding works so that it's clear that we're funding these programs, and we're doing so in a manner that is reflective of what you're actually dealing with. So um, I'll be working on that a little bit over the Christmas holidays, so hopefully we can get that out early next year.
Do you want to talk at all about plans for state level evaluation?
Oh, sure. We had an RFP out, and we've selected a state evaluator. It's a company out of Texas with 25, 30 years of experience with 21st century evaluations. They've got a staff of 15 people, and what we're going to do with that group is they're going to provide a statewide report every year on this program. So they'll be working with your evaluators at the local level. They're also going to be pulling data from the PPICs, and they're going to be looking at the best practice site visits because there's data in there. Plus, we're going to be revising the YETME, and we'll be pulling data from that new instrument for collecting what you're doing with your programs. Now, we're going to have a meeting. We haven't set the date yet. It's probably going to be March or April to define some of the data collection that's going to go into the evaluation. So it's going to be open to anyone who wants to participate, and you'll get a chance to meet our state evaluators, and hopefully maybe you could send your evaluator there. And this is all working to our advantage because they've also relaxed the FERPA rules. So if you're a third party working with a district, you're going to have more ability to gather that student level data. And this can only help us grow as a program. It'll open doors for us to get some, hopefully, additional grant funding, and maybe even some state money down the road. But we're going to be able to communicate the good work that's going on in the field serving kids.
Great. We're looking forward to the evaluators coming on and giving us some great information about the programs in Iowa.
Oh, and some good news. We are not going to have a federal audit.
Oh, all right.
I've been, working with them, explaining what changes we're going to make. The feds are so happy that they took us off their list, so they don't need to come out.
Great. Not that I have
I didn't catch what that was. We're not having a federal audit. Was that what?
Yes.
Said?
Yes. That when I first took over, they told me to expect a federal audit. We were in pretty bad shape, and now we're off that list, and we will not be having an audit.
All right. One less thing for us to worry about scheduling. Not that I have any fear that we would have any problems. We really appreciate all the good work that Vic has done coming in and looking at the processes, and of course all the great work you guys do as sites. Okay. Does anyone have questions for Vic before we move on to best practices? Okay. Hearing none, Amy, I'm going to switch over to the spot where I have your documents, and if you just want to let me know which one you'd like to have up on the screen, I can switch over to that, and I will turn it over to you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, that's great.
Okay, great. How about the 21st century referral information packet I'll talk about first?
Okay.
All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name's Amy Minteer. I'm the Director of Extended Day Learning here in Iowa City. This is my third year here, and before I moved to Iowa City, I lived in California, and we did some after-school programs very similar to this, but I worked with a Boys and Girls Club instead of the school district. So it's been great to be here, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about they saw Claire and Michelle when they came out and looked at two of our sites and what they thought might be helpful if I shared with you. So the first one, this discusses our referral process and how we invite students into the program. Our philosophy here in Iowa City is that we really try and make our program an extension of the school day. So that means having close relationship between our school day teachers and our after-school teachers. In the beginning of the year, we send out this referral packet, and this is just an example from one of our elementary schools at Roosevelt. They're called the Roadrunner Club. We send this packet out to all the first through fourth grade teachers, and it just discusses the program a little bit, 28 weeks, what times we run, how Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are academic days, and then Tuesday and Thursday are our enrichment days. So it just gives a brief overview of the program, and then it explains exactly how we want teachers to fill out this form. So they go based on student need and student abilities, and we wait until the DRAs come back. We just started this year looking at the DIBELs as well, because the DIBELs we get back earlier. These are both reading assessment, state assessment tests. And then once they fill out the information on their own, they will meet as a team. So no student is invited just based on the individual, but it's based on the team, on the student's need, and who they feel would benefit the most from the program. And then once all the students are listed, then we have a meeting with the coordinator, myself, and then we go through and we will send home invitations to parents explaining the program and inviting their student into the program. This is also done very similarly, the same way in the summer. We do it at the end of the year. A lot of times, teachers already have a good idea of who is below proficiency, but we still keep some slots open until the DRA is taken again at the end of the year. And that's also a lot of the way that we assess our reading is by looking at comparing the students for their DRA in the beginning and the end. And then we also pull our comparison data that way. So once we are done with this process, before I go on, I guess, are there any questions on our referral process or anything you want me to explain in more detail?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What does DRA stand for?
DRA is the Diagnostic Reading Assessment.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what Iowa City uses. I'm not sure how many other districts use it. We're moving over to DIBELs, and I can't tell you what DIBELs stands for. I'm getting a training next week or next month, but I think that's used more statewide. But any other questions? All right. If you want to pull up the next one, it's the Yale Parent Survey.
Okay. There we go.
And, I have the Yale. So 21st Century. Yale is something that we call our summer program, but it's the same thing. It's 21st Century. So at each site during the school year, we try and serve 60 students. And during the summer, we serve 30 students. In the past, we only have had summer actually the last 2 years because we didn't have the funding and we didn't write our prior grants to include summer, but we ended up getting some very generous donations from ACT and Pearson, which allowed us to use some of our carryover and mostly the money that was donated to our program. And so we were able to run summer. And here's an example, something, communication obviously is key. We always do teacher surveys, which everybody does for the PPICs, and student surveys, pre and post, and then we also hand out parent surveys. And obviously the purpose of this is to get feedback from the parents. with really wanting to know, how are they able to help their child learn? Are they feeling welcome? How do they think, is their child successful because of the program? Do they feel comfortable helping their child learn? And are they keeping up with what's going on in the program? And it was surprisingly, we got some great stories that parents really took the time to fill out. And we got a lot of them turned back. A good idea too, like, handing these out at your family nights to make sure that you get a good return. I know a lot of times they're lost in the backpacks going home and actually getting back. So a good idea would be to turn them in, or to have them fill them out when they're actually there at the school, if you have good turnouts. And one thing, a lot of them were very positive, but one consistent feedback that I got was that academically they did not feel like they knew what was going on in the program. I think we spend such a large time, sending home. All of our programs are theme-based, and we tie it in with the field trips we take, especially in the summer. And so we always send home monthly newsletters and let them know all the activities we're doing. Don't forget your swimsuits and towels and everything. But I think we were lacking in letting them know what we were doing academically. It was easy for us to just say, oh, our math curriculum is Do the Math, our reading curriculum is LLI and SOAR, but not going into any greater detail. So after seeing that feedback after the summer, I went ahead, and you can put up the report card next. Thank you.
Yeah.
I went ahead and developed a report card because obviously I think it's so easy to collect surveys and do nothing with it, but I felt that this was something that the parents were asking for. So now at the end of every month, our after school day school teachers go ahead and fill out a report card talking about the skills and concepts that they worked on that month, skills that they mastered, skills that they're going to continue to work on, and then explaining what they're going to be working on the following month. And our after-school teachers also share this with the school day teachers, and this is something really helpful that they can bring when they meet once a month to their meetings and talk about the students' goals and so on. So, so far we've gotten good feedback from the parents. They appreciate it, and it's just one more thing that they can use as a tool at home to go deeper into those skills and concepts, or just it's a conversation starter, and so they know what's going on and not just the activities that they're doing. So those are the three things I had to share. Are there any other questions or comments?
Amy, I have a question. Would you mind if we shared this report card and the parent survey on the wiki? Because
No, of course not.
Okay, because I think this is good, and we don't have a lot of people on the webinar, but putting it on the wiki is going to give it a little more exposure.
Yeah.
And these are excellent tools for
of course.
Communicating what we're doing with students to parents.
Yeah.
Yep, all of the documents from our call today will be on the wiki site under the best practice webinars, and you can find the documentation from past webinars up there as well, in case anyone's looking for past documents.
Great.
Yeah, those are nice documents.
Thank you.
So any questions for Amy, either on the information that she presented, or anything else related to parent feedback, targeting students? Is anyone else using any kind of format to report back to parents about particularly the academics that they are doing in their programming? All right, it looks like you've hit on something, Amy. I bet folks will be very interested to take a look at what you're using and think about how that might work with their program. Okay. Well, I think there will be an opportunity at the end for questions, so if you think of something else that you want to talk to Amy about, there will be an opportunity at the end. But for now, I think let's move on to Shirley with Perry Community School District. And same thing for you, Shirley. Just let me know which document you would like me to have up, and I will display it on the screen for everyone.
Well, you have my outline.
Yeah, although the way that this works, I'm not able to go back and forth between the two screens as easily. So if you want to give me a heads up, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Like I was going to say, the only document that would be pertinent, I think, right now to be on the screen would be my outline. But we'll get to the other ones later. So you want me to go ahead then?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that you wanted to display the outline, but I can try to pull that up here just a second. But yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, my name is Shirley Keenan, and I am the site coordinator for PACES, the after school and summer programming at Perry Middle School, which covers grades 6 through 8. PACES stands for Perry's Academic and Cultural Enrichment Services. We are in year 5 of the 5-year 21st Century Community Learning Center grant. We also have a program at the elementary school that started as a 21st century program approximately 11 years ago, and but they are no longer operating with that grant funding. One of our, in addition to the after-school and summer programs for the middle school students, one of our goals is to promote family literacy, parenting skills, increased school and child involvement, and improved economic status of the family. For those of you who don't know a lot about Perry, it is a town of approximately 8,000, and we've had an ever-increasing growing Latino population for over 20 years. And district-wide, in our school district, we are approximately half non-Caucasian, and most of the non-Caucasian students are Latino students. So it is important that all of our send-home materials are in both Spanish and English. So that the goal of addressing needs of parents in our school district is a rather lofty goal as far as assessing what are their needs. And I have worked in human services fields for many years, and I have learned firsthand that it doesn't work to decide first what people need and try to do those programs and expect good attendance. The need has to come from the intended audience. People won't attend if they don't believe they need it or will benefit from it. So we set first going about this by talking directly with our parents at events such as back to school night and open house to get their input as far as what they feel their needs are. So we did a lot of face-to-face surveys. We would ask them, give them examples of things we were considering to get their input, and then ask them, just what their perception is. And then another way we went about this was collaborating and network with other groups who serve families in our district. There's no need to do it all by oneself. More heads are better than one. A couple of ways of going about this is, all counties, since things changed in Iowa about 15 years ago with the establishment of empowerment areas, there is a lot of collaboration between health and human service agencies and education with the communities and the government. And by getting involved in empowerment, that is a good way to network with other people and help find out what the needs are and what is being done to address those needs. And then also in Perry, for many years now, and this was taking place even before empowerment, we have bi-monthly meetings, and it's open to all area service providers to come and an opportunity to network and discuss what is going on. So those have been great resources for me for making connections and working with others. With the surveys that were done of parents at the school, by far, predominantly, the biggest needs that were expressed were the need and desire to learn either English or Spanish. Many native English speakers want to learn Spanish, and vice versa. By far, those were the biggest needs expressed. And then, and the most commonly comment was the lack of time to attend classes. If we were to offer ESL classes for Spanish speakers or Spanish classes, people said, I want to learn, but I don't have time to go to a class. And ESL classes were already being offered in our high school through DMAC. Many of our parents work at Tyson, and many work evenings, limiting their availability to attend classes. So we ended up, through a variety of meetings and discussions, we ended up working with the Perry Public Library on this project. We learned that Rosetta Stone was already available in the Perry Public Library and also the Iowa Workforce Development Office, that those materials could not be checked out, and they weren't ideal settings for the patrons to use. The feedback from the library was that there is a high demand for learning materials which could be checked out of the library for use at home or commuting in the vehicle. So we embarked on what ended up being about a year-long process in terms of researching materials and discussing how to go about getting those materials. And so the long and short of it is we now have a nice variety of English and Spanish language learning materials which can be checked out at the Perry Public Library, and the feedback we're hearing is that they are highly utilized. In regards to collaboration, as I mentioned earlier, it's, more heads are better than one, and that, many hands make light work. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I have found it very helpful to network with other groups and work with them to help offer programs that are needed for our families. Okay, I see you've got the language learning materials up. Okay, thank you. Yeah, the press release was distributed in English and in Spanish in our local newspaper, radio station. We also have a Spanish radio station and a Spanish newspaper, and then it's, there's a signage up in the library about these materials, and then it is well noted that these materials were provided with the help of 21st Century Community Learning Center funding. Then, if you want to go next to the computer classes handout, many of our native Spanish speakers, the adults, have absolutely no computer experience, which is a significant hindrance in terms of being able for these parents to remain involved or be involved with their students, what's going on with the school district, and even job skills. So a few years ago, we started offering very basic computer classes in Spanish, and this is as basic as you can get. They learn that, this is a keyboard, this is a mouse, and how to turn the computer on. And these have been very well attended. This has been a collaboration with Iowa State Extension and Catholic Charities and Hispanics United for Perry. And as I said, this helps the parents, while they're learning the basic of the computer, They learn about the school's website, how to access that website and navigate it, and find out what is going on with their child as far as checking school info, missing assignments, grades, etc. And interesting thing about those classes that we'll be offering them again this spring, and this time we now have a new DMAC building in Perry, and we are working with DMAC to offer the classes there. They are generously donating their computer lab for their use, and we feel that this will be a great way to expose the parents to DMAC and what else they can offer for them. Then next, when you get a chance, we'll go to the citizenship classes. Unfortunately, many of our adults in the community do not have legal citizenship status, and this is, of course, a barrier to improving their economic status. So a few years ago, New Opportunities Incorporated, which is our area community action agency, they had an immigrant advocacy center, and they started offering citizenship classes as part of that. However, they needed help with that. They needed a location, so we began collaborating with them on this project and used the government room, the government classroom in the high school, because it has various government documents on display. So we provided the location for these classes and helped with the promotion and the materials. And the Immigrant Advocacy Center is no longer in existence, but we have continued to offer these classes, and we are now going to start working with another entity in town to keep these classes going. Let's see. Next, the next document, how about let's do strengthening families. Strengthening Families is a program that is done through Iowa State University Extension. It is a program to help relationships within the family. They have a program for families with younger children, but we work on offering the program for families with middle school age children. And the program starts by having a family dinner, and we have then after the dinner, we have one class in Spanish and one class in English for the parents in different classrooms, and then we have a youth program too. Someone works with the middle school age students, and child care is provided. So we utilize the school building to offer this program, and it's been very successful. We also help promote the program at our parent-teacher conference evenings and back-to-school nights. So that's been a nice collaboration with Iowa State Extension. And then, let's see, one other program that we started working on was a resume writing workshop in English and in Spanish, and this was going to be a collaboration with Iowa Workforce Development, but then we have since lost our Iowa Workforce Development office, and we would still like to do the resume writing workshops, but it's presenting to be more of a challenge at this time. So so those are some of the more successful examples we've had of offering opportunities for parents. I think the bottom line is it's very important to assess the needs of the district before you start offering programs, because as I said, if the parents, if the adults in the district don't perceive it's something they need or they will benefit from, they won't participate. Any questions? Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Shirley. And I think, our thought here at the IAA is that a lot of folks are accessing community organizations like Iowa State Extension or similar organizations for programming purposes, but we hadn't seen too many examples of programs that were accessing those organizations for the family literacy component of the 21st Century Program. So we thought that this would be helpful information for folks if you're struggling to figure out what to do with family literacy. Some of those community organizations can be a great resource in the community and can maybe even help you identify what the needs of the community are to support parents as they support their children in your programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of the needs to address the needs of the community, there are, often times many organizations or agencies already trying to address these needs, but perhaps they lack the resources. Maybe they need help with promoting. Sometimes it's a place to hold the program, and the school building is a great place to connect with families and get the word out there and get them more involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, Shirley, you guys are a great example of being able to partner to offer a great variety of programs without having to focus a lot of your resources and time on doing all of the logistics and coordination and recruiting, and you take your part that makes the most sense for you to do as a 21st Century Program, and then through that partnership you're able to have a greater impact. Is there anybody else that's using some of those community organizations to address the family literacy component? You guys are a quiet group today. I think everybody's ready for a holiday break. Okay.
I thought this was good to see how a district with a high ESL population is responding to the needs of their local community. And on the state level, we are going to be having some ESL PD. I've been working with our consultant, John Scott, and he's going to talk to some of his folks so that we get someone who's very technology savvy to provide us with some strategies in meeting the needs of our ESL population.
Great. Any other questions for our presenters, or any other questions that you'd be interested in getting feedback from your peers? It doesn't even have to be on the topics that we were addressing today. This is a great opportunity to have some conversation with other 21st century sites around the state.
This is Amy Minteer. I do have a question that's off topic, and I'm not sure if this was discussed early on when Vic was talking, but the RFP, does anybody know when that's going to be put out for next year? Or how much money is going towards 21st century? Or
Well, I can't give you a date right now because we can't set it until we get the RFP completed. But I envision it'll be in the early part of 2012, and the money is over $5 million, and we'll have the exact amount and the RFP. Everything will be posted up on the department website, and one of the ways we'll have technical assistance will be through webinars like this. We will have some live face-to-face technical assistance, but we'll have more of it available via the webinar. That way no one has to leave. They can be, get the technical assistance, right at their station. Plus, I plan on putting the RFP, the new one, up in Adobe Connect Pro as a PDF, and we can go through it, section by section.
okay, thank you.
This is Claire, and I have a question for all of you that came up at our Council Bluffs site visit. One of the site coordinators there has a reoccurring issue with a group of young girls who they're friends one day, and then a few of them are not friends the next day. And he says that separating them, temporarily fixes things, but, a couple days later they're back at it again. So he was wondering if we could kind of reach out to other sites and see if they had any suggestions on how to deal with that kind of behavior.
How old are these girls?
They are, I think, upper elementary school, so third, fourth, fifth, probably.
Yeah, that's when it seems to start.
Yeah.
Oh man, girls can be so mean.
Is anyone using any curriculum that would address that? I mean, I know we have a fair prevalence of bullying curriculums across the state, although often that is not as effective in addressing a more gender-specific type of bullying.
We don't right now. I mean, we have different discussions and stuff, but we actually have the Girl Scouts are starting in January, and they come in and it's free, and they just do a 6-week course with just the girls. And I just got done meeting with them, and they have it set up where they have curriculum for the older girls, 5th, 6th, and then 3rd, 4th, 1st, 2nd. And the big part of it is touching on bullying and self-esteem. So while I haven't seen it yet, it's an option, and it's free if they have budget issues, and that's for 6 weeks. So I can't tell you if it's successful, but I mean, I know everybody's heard of Girl Scouts. And
yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Erin, this is Becky from Storm Lake. One of the things we've tried is a Girls Circle curriculum. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. That's something we've offered after school as well, and it's kind of an 8-week curriculum. There's a couple of different ones. There's also a 12-week curriculum that can be used as well, but we've partnered with our substance abuse prevention organization, and so someone from that organization has come in and done kind of a girls circle team building things with some of our girls after school as well.
Great. Thanks, Becky. Yeah, I think I've heard of that curriculum before, so it's nice to know that you guys have had success in using that.
Right.
Any other suggestions?
The Chrysalis Foundation curriculum. I know we have had the same Girl Scout program in our elementary after school program, and I think it's gone fairly well. And as well as something similar to the Girls Circle, but we had a girls group for a couple of years, and one of the first year started, it was based, it was through the Chrysalis Foundation, and we continued it for another 2 years, and that seemed to be very effective.
Yeah, thanks, Shirley. And that's a good point. That the Chrysalis Foundation is a very good resource for particularly gender-specific programming for girls and young women. And the Chrysalis Foundation happens to be the Iowa After School Alliance's fiscal agent. So we can certainly help folks make that connection if people want to talk to them as a resource. It also looks like Erica gave us a suggestion. They work with a social worker from Tanager Place, and so the social worker is able to help them out with an intervention and looking at meeting with parents and small group discussions. So thanks, that's another great idea. All right, any other issues, thoughts, challenges, best practices that folks want to share? Okay, well then I think that considering we have just a few more days before the holiday break for most of us, I think ending a little early